Hi, well, we're on our last part, our last segment of the bowl, putting the base on it and a trim around the top. So it'll be great. Finish the butterflies. They came out really nice. The inside came out nice. Sorry if there's a little bit of a glare here, but we won't worry about that today. Okay, now I've sprayed the bowl with a polyacrylic spray, and I do a clear gloss, and I do a very, very light coat, just super light coats. I take the can and just across, because I don't want my butterfly ink to run, which it usually doesn't. Um, but just be careful and do about 3 or 4 coats over the whole thing. I did over here too because it makes it a little shiny, a little cleaner looking. So we're going to start. Um, this is the cord I'm using. I'm using a leather cord. The size of the cord is in the description, so you'll have that if you want to use the cord. The size of my holes goes with the size of the cord. So it'll just kind of go right into the hole, if I can find the hole. There we go. Not the greatest eyeballs in town, but that's okay. So it goes in there, and then I'll just pull it through, an inch depending. So your hole is going to be the size that works for, sorry about the phone, we'll get rid of that. The size of your hole will depend upon what you're using to sew the paracord on with. And so pulling it through here, and I can kind of show you how nice it looks right there. You see how clean that looks? And each one will be straight across. So it'll look really clean and it'll look really nice. Okay, so then I'm going to go on the outside, and I'm going to go at a diagonal, and I'm going to go to the next hole and pull it through. That's going to make me a loop. I'm going to take that little piece of cord that's there and put it through my loop, because that's how I kind of tie it off. It's just going to go through a couple of loops as we go along, okay? Okay, so I've got my loop. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paracord. Now, I've got the 3 pieces, and I'm going to stagger because I don't like them to be a straight line, because it just doesn't look nice to me. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want a straight line, it can be a straight line, but I don't do it that way. I take, excuse me, I take my lighter and I just heat the tips a little bit to melt them down, and that way they won't fray. Okay, so I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them through, pull it, and I make a long piece because I don't want to have to add to it, so I don't mind the long piece. So, I'm sorry, there we go. So you see you have those 2 going that way, and you have the 2 inside going straight, okay? And you can just do the same thing all the way around the bowl till you get to your first staggered piece, and I'll be back when I get there, okay? All right. Okay, we're back. It only took about 20 minutes to get this far, maybe less, maybe 15. I'm drinking a cup of tea at the same time and enjoying my day. So you can see how pretty that looks. You know, it looks really nice so far. The inside, you can see just the parts that go around here and how nice it looks and clean and all the same. And it kind of fits in between. And so what we're going to do now, I'm going to just show you one, how to do it, and then you can kind of play with it. And that's my inside one. I'm not ready for that one. That's my upper one. Not ready for that one. So the outside one, I want to get it so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I have this one here, and then I'm going to take this long piece here that I'm going to cut off, and I'm going to take it along and kind of pull it a little bit, because when I put the cord on it, it's going to shrink it down and stretch it a little bit. Then I'm going to take this one, pull it a little bit, put it up there. I'm going to kind of match them up a little bit, and then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to cut this right here. So I'm going to cut it right there. And then I'm going to match it up. Say, okay, it's still, nope, I think that'll work. Then I'm going to take the end, get these out of the way, get my cord out of the way, have it up there, and I'm going to take my lighter and I'm going to go just to the end a little bit. Just keep melting it a little bit. Then I'm going to kind of squish it a little bit, make sure it's been heated enough to keep it in place. And then I'm going to continue my stitches. I'm going to go through here. And it kind of locks itself when you go through again through the inside of the bowl. When you go through that one and you pull it through the other side here, when I pull it through, it locks it. So it stays tight. It doesn't come loose. Sometimes when you're using pine needles, it comes loose. This doesn't. If you use wax linen, it'll probably come loose and you're going to have to hold it tight. I haven't used the wax linen for a while, so. And not on this cord. This cord's kind of slippery. But it's coming out really good. It's standing pretty nice. So I'm going to keep going here. And I'm going to put, just when I get to the ends there, and I put these together, like so. If I need to cut a little bit more off, I will, and then I'll heat it at the end. But I'm going to go ahead and just keep on going. I don't glue them together. I just put them at an end, and if they, like I say, if this looks like it's going to be a little long, I'll cut it off again, because that's what it looks like right now. I don't know if you can tell. See if I go this way, you can kind of see. It might be a little long still, and if it is, I'll just cut off another piece and heat it. Okay, be right back. Okay, I think you can see how the pieces have gone in really nice. There's one here, and there's one back here. So it all just kind of floats in really nice. So there's my last piece here, and it's going over the top. I have the other piece too measured right in here, and they went together there really nice. So I'm going to stretch it out, figure where I want to cut it. I'm going to cut it right here. So I'm going to cut it. I'm going to heat the end, pull it out like so. Let's see if I can show you. There we go. I'm going to heat the end and melt that down a little more. And remember, it's hot, which I always forget. This one here I'm going to heat up again too, because it doesn't, I'm going to heat this end up again. So it looks like it came loose. Okay, I think I forgot to heat it before. Okay, so be careful not to burn yourself. It's still kind of warm. Alright, and then I'm going to just pull it and put them together. Okay? And finish up my stitching. Okay, I finished it off, and now I'm pulling the cord through the opposite direction. So I'm locking it in. So what I've done is I've taken my last piece that goes over right here, took it through, bent it under so that it goes this way, whereas just like I started, the other piece is under over here. Okay, and you can do, I'll probably do one more. I have this owl thing, and I use it to pull the leather up. A little difficult, but it works. And I get in there. Okay, just show you it's not always easy, but I make my little hole there. Take the end of my cord, pull that up, and I'm stretching it out because this is going to tighten it back up when I get the cord through. Okay, and then I just get that cord over there. Okay, got it kind of in, just isn't going enough in. Well, let's see if you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm lifting that up enough to get the cord through. And I'm going to pull it. And basically, that's locked in. It's all nice and tight again. And I'm going to cut that right there. Put it down in there. Just kind of push it down in there. Hides the end. And we're done. And the nice part about the cord is that, because it's thick, you know, it's leather cord, that when your gourd sits down, and it sits really nice, doesn't wobble, it's very nice, your paracord isn't going to get dirty like if it was setting. If you just used wax linen, it would be thin, and the paracord would sit on the table and get the dust all over it and be really hard to keep clean. This just helps it stay off the surface. And it's easy to wipe the leather off a little bit if you need to for dusting. Okay, that part's done. Now we're going to move into the top part, and that's a little different. Okay, I'm back, and what I want to do is kind of see what I've got the cord going around the top there. On these bowls, and with using paracord or ropes, anything, it's very slippery, and I like to keep it level. And if you start putting your wax linen, or like me, the leather, and you go in and you start tightening it, it goes like this, or it goes down here, you know, and it just looks like a snake rolling around it. So what I've done, and I've started, is I take a little bit of tacky glue. And what is tacky? It's tacky, so I'm tacking it down. So I take it and I go right above the holes here, and this hole's probably down a little bit, so that's okay. And I keep this part, see if I can kind of show you with this over here. I keep that right at the top edge, and as I'm gluing, I start here, right? And this little tiny piece here hasn't glued in yet, but because it's just for tacking it down. And anyway, I go around and I do about 2 inches of little tiny bit of glue, and I'll show you how I do that in a minute. And then as I'm going, I constantly, see, I don't want the top of the bowl to show. I constantly go back and make sure it hasn't slipped with the glue. And then I'll take my finger over it, and I'll check that, and I'll move it around to keep it where it needs to stay until it's dry. So I'm going to go along here. All right, and so here's my end piece here. I'm going to fold it back a little bit. I'm going to take my tacky glue. simply what it says, techie glue. And I use this. I'm going to put just a little tiny bit right here. Oh, that's too much. Get that bubble out of there. Just a little bit. Sometimes you get more than you need, and you can always wipe it off with your finger. I just put a little bit just to hold it in place. That's it. Nothing terrific, nothing great. This one here, I'm going to just take a little bit of that off because that's too much. There. Okay. Then I'm going to take it, paracord, and I'm going to put it there, and then I'm just going to go along and move it where it needs to be. Take it down with this finger, make sure it's just on the top there, and that it hits the top of my holes because I don't want it too high. So it's just kind of making sure it's where you need to have it. Like I said, some holes are a little different than others, but they're all basically pretty close to the same. And then I'm going to hold it for a while until it sets in place. Okay? Now I'm going to do that all the way to here. And then I'm going to, of course, measure it to fit, cut it, heat the end, and glue these two where they belong. And that just holds it in place because I don't want it slipping. I did one where I didn't, and it was really just looked terrible. So I kept trying to figure what I could do to make it stay in place, and I thought, I'll just glue it down. So that's what I did. And if you see some glue, just take your finger, wipe it off, or have a little damp cloth and put it down with the damp cloth. It all works. And then go back through and check it all where it isn't dry. Make sure it's all still where it needs to be. If you need to move it before it gets too dry. And you can just play with it. And so that's how I'm going to do the outside and the inside, and I'll be back to show. Okay, I'm back. If you see, I've got the inside done. I've all glued in all the way around. You see the cord inside here. Let's see. See how nice it is in there, and it's all almost dry. And then I'm going to just take this cord, the opposite color, and I'm going to just put it on top. I don't have to glue it, and I'm going to stitch it on. So first thing I want to say is I got to get my cord here. All right, so I start my cord going from the inside through the hole. Let's see, I don't want to start there. I want to start this one here is where I put it together, and I put it together there, so I'm going to start it over here. So I'm going to find the hole, I'm going to put it through. It goes through there. Okay. Keep it going. Nice long piece. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other one. I'm going to have a little piece left over, and I'm going to fold it. Let's see if you can see. Yeah. I'm going to fold it up under here, just like that. Okay? And then I'm going to take my piece. I've got the edge burnt. I'll put that on top. I want to see what the best way for you to see this right there. And then I'm going to take my cord end here. I'm going to go to the, if I can do it that way, I'm going to go to the inside diagonal. So it'll go diagonal to the next hole. Alright, I'm going to make sure I fold my cord in so that it's folded in, and then I'm going to pull it through. I have my little loop here. I'm going to push that down in there. So we're only working with the one hole each on this one. Okay. end again. Going to go over the top, the next hole, put it through, pull it through. I think you can see. Put that over there. Okay. And the top has it goes around a little bit further apart. These are a 1/2 inch, my holes here, and the bottom ones are 1/4 inch. I like it a little tighter on the bottom. Okay, now I'm just going to keep on going, doing the same thing over and over again, and I'll be back when I finish this round. Okay, so we have it totally done around the top. I've gone all the way around to this spot right here, right here. Let's see if I can get it so you can see what I've done. Alright, so I've done the same thing I did on the bottom. I put the top cord, of course, on this side, and then when I got to here, I went in, I looped it let's see with this hand. I looped it under and pulled it through 3 of these, and now I'm going to cut it. Push that up a little bit, and you can't really tell where it is. So we've completed it. It looks great. It came out with a really nice, there we go, really nice bottom to it. And if you look where this bottom hits, all the little dots, the little purple dots there are all around. Perfect. Then you come up here to this edge, and we got the teardrops and the gold and yellow dots here. Comes out really nice, all set. Look at that. Butterflies flying around, looking good. The inside, the straight pieces all the way around. Looks nice. You can hardly tell where it's at. It fits right in. And that's it. It's a complete bowl. Thanks for joining me and doing this. It's been an experience. This is my first YouTube. Have a lot to learn. Learned a lot from everybody.